during this very challenging time where we had to be forced to be separate from our friends and our colleagues, I was really grateful for this Anchor app, which has allowed me to continue the podcast after almost 1 year of working on it. It's free. You simply go to anchor.fm and download the app. And there you'll find all the tools that you need to record and edit your podcast, as well as to invite people onto your podcast through the app. Anchor also distributes the podcast for you on Apple, Spotify, and many other platforms. You have absolutely nothing to do except to record your podcast. If you have an ad like this, you can also make money. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. I would recommend it for anyone who wants to get their voice out there, has something to contribute. Go for it. Anchor.fm is where you go to download the free app and to get started. Good luck with your podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Bees and Honey podcast. Today we're speaking with Rachel Vancelette, and she has created this wonderful company called ArtXPuzzles, and she'll tell you how it works. Basically, you can purchase these for just a couple $100, some of them, and they are wonderful works of art which make a lot of fun for the entire family. I hope you get one soon. Hi, Rachel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays to you. How's everything with you? Good?
Yeah, things are looking up. I'm happy it's the holidays, and I'm happy for the new year to come.
Yeah, it's been quite a year, I would say. So we'll be interested to turn it into 2021 and see what happens. So.
Yes. So when did you start this new project, ArtXPuzzle? Did you start during the pandemic or before?
We started during the pandemic. It was about the beginning of May, end of April, where I came up with the idea for the project. It was right when everybody was kind of still in lockdown, and we decided to. I woke up one day and thought, I need to do something to reconnect with, artists and my friends, and everybody was kind of silenced at the time, and I thought, well, how could I do this? And what was interesting about it was, my family and everyone that was around me, I mentioned it to them and they thought, well, this is a great idea. And part of me thought, well, am I crazy to think to call artists and ask them to make puzzles? But the puzzle community was really thriving at that time. There was a lot of things happening with the puzzle community where they were exchanging puzzles. Puzzles were out of stock. Things were happening in the press that were saying to me, maybe this might be an idea to translate artwork, really top artwork into really beautiful collector edition puzzles. So yeah, it started in May, and I began to reach out to different artists. I wanted to see what they thought, and they're from relationships I'd had from over the years when I worked at Yvonne Lambert and Gladstone Gallery, and got good responses. I started hearing stories about artists being out of galleries, losing their museum shows, and so it was a spark of light for me and for a lot of the people involved. So it was kind of a call to action to see how we could raise money for COVID-19. And the efforts and support each other, artist to artist. So it kind of turned into its own entity before I even could think. Because when I started it, I thought it was only going to be, maybe 20 artists, maybe 40 artists. And now at the end of the year, we're at over 90, almost hitting 100 artists. So
that's amazing. I mean, I love that story. It's such a blessing of something good that came out of the whole crisis.
Yeah, thank you.
And you said first it started off with helping COVID. I'm not aware of that aspect of the project. Like, were some of the funds going towards relief efforts for some people or something?
Basically, when it was kind of like thinking about how you would give back, and so we ended up organizing to have artist charity choices. So as I spoke to the artists. We were currently in the wave of Black Lives Matter, which was a really important organization, still is, that was currently in the news, and a lot of people were wanting to do something for them. So we picked them. We also worked with Artist Relief Fund, which gives grants to different artists. We're currently also working with First Responders Children's Fund, which is they raise money and give funds and support to our first responders. So we continue to roll out new charities. We'll roll out another charity in January. And we also allowed the artists to kind of pick. A couple of artists decided, well, this is my charity I want to use. And so what they do is we automatically donate a percentage to charity for every sale of a puzzle. But artists are also able to retain their net profit, just like selling an artwork. And they can donate their net profit, or they can retain it for themselves, which is mailbox money for them to be able to pay for their studios as we sell the puzzles. So it became more than just let's make a puzzle. It became, let's really think about how we can help each other and help others during this crazy pandemic. So yeah, that's kind of how we set it up. So they are collector editions and they're limited editions. So they're collection, editions of 20, editions of 60, editions of 100. And then we also have artists such as Marilyn Minter and Kenny Scharf and these larger artists who necessarily are pretty much well supported in their studios already, but really wanted to make a larger impact. So they made a limited editions in order to reach a mass audience and also raise more funds. And a lot of those puzzles go completely to charity.
Well, I really love this project because of that accessibility to everyone. But there's so many questions because, as I speak to you, I'm getting more questions. Could we just backtrack a little to know a little bit about yourself and your background? And you also said that stuff was happening in the puzzle community. So were you a part of that community before the idea came to you? Or I don't know. Can you tell us a little?
No, I actually wasn't. Puzzling to me was something I had done as a child. But what had happened was, I grew up in the printing industry. My father was he sold large scale printing presses. So I was going to printing conventions since I was a child. So printing a puzzle to me was something that was familiar, I would say, in the sense of the fact that understanding how to translate an artwork into a print and into a puzzle to make it match the artwork was something that came easily to me. My background, I worked in galleries. I was senior director of Yvonne Lambert back in the day, and I was senior director at Barbara Gladstone Gallery. I've helped launch her 21st Street space with Anish Kapoor, and one of the artists we launched for Yvonne Lambert was Richard Jackson, and he's now on the project. We have a lot of the artists. Idris Khan was working with us at Yvonne Lambert. So a lot of these artists came to me onto the project just from our relationships over the years. So that helped maintain those relationships over those years, really helped when I called and said, hey, do you want to do this? They were all kind of like, it's great to talk to you and catch up, and let's try this out, see what happens. What's the worst thing that can happen? Nothing, right? Right,
exactly.
Yeah, right. If people think we're crazy, well, we'll have a puzzle to puzzle with, right?
Yes.
So in that, my background is in contemporary art. It's in, curating and working it with artists in galleries for many years in different projects. So I was just grateful that the artist said yes. I wasn't sure. I called Marilyn Minter, who, I've always been a big fan of her work, followed her work, and the gallery's been great. All the galleries have been fantastic. Hauser and Wirth, Listen Gallery, Metro Pictures with Louise Lawler. All of the galleries have been incredibly supportive. Paula Cooper, everybody. That was my biggest concern was the galleries and how they would respond. And most of them are puzzling themselves. DC Moore, their directors and everybody over there has been puzzling Carrie Moyer's puzzle and sending us pictures. I mean, it's just been very joyful to get that thing back because, as much as everybody went back to work, it was limited staff, it was social distancing. So, and even in the artist studios, they've been puzzling, Zooming, doing all sorts of fun things to send us images of what they're up to. So it's been like Idris Khan had one of his collectors glue his together. He did a beautiful Victorian wood and they glued it together and put it on an easel. So, I mean, you just don't know what people will do, so it's been really quite a fun adventure. So
Yes. And where can
yeah.
where can people find the puzzles, and how much do they cost? Is it based on the edition number or size, or how does it work?
Well, we have right now they're only for sale through our website, which is www.arttimespuzzles.com.
Mm-hmm.
And basically we decided that, and when I did this, I decided I want every puzzle to be similar or in lieu of the artist's studio and their practice. And so we have puzzles anywhere from, well, the prices are anywhere from $65 to $450, depending on the type of puzzle they are.
Mm-hmm.
We do everything from paper puzzles to very beautiful wood puzzles to AI puzzles. We have puzzles that each puzzle is different and is built with an AI technology.
Mm-hmm.
And we have anything from a round puzzle to double-sided puzzles. We have a mini puzzle that's like 3 inches. So there's a wide variety of puzzles to choose from, and different ideas from each artist. Some did double-sided, which are really, really difficult. You think a puzzle's easy, but I will say I did learn a lot in the process of making the puzzles and realizing that, you study an artwork for, days even sometimes completing these, and you discover so many things about the artwork. For instance, Mark Dennis did a painting called America.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen the painting before, but puzzling it, I realized he has all these different riddles and different things hidden in these flowers. And if you didn't study it for that long, you probably wouldn't catch this information. So it was really kind of exciting because I was cut off from going to galleries and museums, as everybody else was. So I couldn't sit with art anymore. So it helped me mentally. It gave me a sense of calm in the middle of the chaos. So for me, it was myself and my mother and my family and everybody were like puzzling around me, which was fun. So
amazing. I think this is just so much bright light at the end of a dark tunnel. And so you're welcome. So did the whole lockdown situation help with the business, or it didn't seem to hurt it, for example?
Well, I really did this with, I invested the money into it and thought, I'm hedging a bet. We didn't know what the audience would respond. Puzzles are kind of perceived as these kind of, cheap paper puzzles, that are just puzzle, you've probably had a puzzle before that's just kind of really thin paper. The kind of puzzles we're doing are really, really, really top quality. The factory we're using is using all environmentally stamped processes, especially even with our wood puzzles. So I really wanted the top quality, and I got very blessed with a factory that believed in my vision, because usually you have to produce these at like thousands and thousands at a time,
right?
And which we're producing them as limited editions, and the print run is 20 or 20, 22 with 2 APs. So yeah, with that, I really had no idea. We want to make them, they're a collector edition, obviously. We're really graced with the fact that we have a lot of supporting people, galleries, art collectors, museums even have talked to us. So coming in 2021, we're hoping to probably be outside the website and be placed in a couple stores, museum stores as such, and, be able to kind of get the puzzles continuing out there. And we'll be doing some more dynamic kind of things in 2021 to kind of continue the efforts. January is National Puzzling Month, so we may be doing, we're thinking about doing a subscription where you could get a puzzle a month, and you just don't know what puzzle's coming to you, but it will be one of the artist puzzles. And we have things lined up for Valentine's Day, and Black History Month is coming. So we have Alana Simone, who's a wonderful curator, who's already done a curation for us when we launched, to bring on some beautiful new artists to the program. And we're continuing to do that. We have Christopher Eamon this month, who brought on Joan Jonas and a lot of other really great artists, Jennifer Coates. So we are working with curators as well, because curators kind of got knocked out of the game too. And they also need funds. Some of them aren't able to do the work they want to do. So they get a curatorial fee for coming on board with us. They bring in new artists to keep the program fresh. So it's been really great. So we only plan to continue to grow, We're thrilled that the vaccine's out and there's going to be some answers. And even past this, we will probably, continue. And we'll just keep giving our efforts to different organizations, as a give back.
Yeah, well, I have some idea for you, and when we're done, I'll email you or send you that and see if it's interesting from a gallery perspective.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. I love that.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm very open. I love connecting with people, and it's been really a great way for all of us to have a conversation without it always being about COVID. We talk about puzzling for a little while, and it gives us a little free break from the mind of the things that are happening in the world. So I love that. Yeah, please email me.
Absolutely.
And talk to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, we went so big before the whole lockdown stuff in terms of art sales and, bigger prices and higher prices and auctions and blah, blah, blah. And on some level, this brought back art to every man to be able to be affordable to everyone.
Yeah, I think it's really important. And I think it's also an educational tool. We're working with a few organizations in 2021, and we're going to try to, we want it to be an educational tool for both children and adults.
Yes.
Some people they aren't accessible to the world that you and I live in. They're not able to access the museums in the same way that we do in New York and other places around the world.
Right.
And so hopefully, someone that's sitting in Montana that's puzzling, we've sent these puzzles all over the world. Before we get the orders, I'm always surprised where they're coming from. And I'm hoping that it touches someone. I hope it changes someone's perspective. If we can do one thing and bring some light to someone, it's, hopefully a wonderful piece of art that they can sit with. And what's interesting is a lot of people are gluing them together. We've had a lot of Marilyn Minters being glued together and hung on walls. I mean, people are using them in different ways.
Yes.
And some are passing them on. So I'll do a puzzle and then I'll send you my puzzle I completed, and it's become like a chainmail, So,
absolutely. I mean,
so
the next level is when you do an opening with the puzzles and some artists sign some of them. That would be cool.
Yeah,
too.
That's what we hope. Well, we are going to do for the First Responders Children's Fund. Hopefully it'll be January or February. We do have the artists signing some of the puzzles, and they're going to go up for auction to raise money for their organization. So I'm really grateful to the artists for signing them. We've had to, all be social distance. So we're shipping them, having them sign them, ship them back to us, things like that. But hopefully one day, I mean, the hope is one day we could all get together and puzzle, and perhaps even have the real artwork on the wall for an exhibition, and everybody could get together. So let's hope for that.
Absolutely. Well, I look forward to that time. I mean, I see it as a great performance piece as well. If you took over a gallery space of an artist and you just had a group of people doing their puzzles, that would be super fun.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing about the project also was that, I was concerned about some of the artists wanting to translate their art into like a puzzle, because we have like Nama Tizabar, who's, with Paul Kasman Gallery, and she's a performance artist, beautiful image of her from one of her performances, the shattered, guitar that turned into a beautiful puzzle. So it's been interesting to see, sculptors as well. We have performance artists, we have painters. It's, Joan Jonas is doing a fantastic puzzle. We can't wait to launch it from one of her performances. So speaking of performance, it's like interesting. It'd be interesting to translate that over, to have some of those artists in the room, right?
Absolutely. So, well, I really think you're doing a great job, and I'm so happy you took the time to tell us a little bit about it. And we'll hopefully.
And thank you for supporting us.
Yeah.
No, I'd love to meet in person soon. Hopefully 2021 will bring us some new
adventures,
new energy to be able to see each other in person.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for supporting us and giving me some airspace to talk about it. Well, I appreciate you and appreciate what you do.
Yes.
So
well, have a great holiday. Have a great New Year, and we'll talk soon.
Okay. Yeah. Happy holidays.
Take care, Rachel.
Take care. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode with Rachel and hearing about art times puzzles. Hopefully you'll have a couple in your house soon and have lots of fun literally building art. Have a great week and see you again soon on the Bees and Honey podcast.